Last time, on Alone in the Shadows of Brimstone.
March 15th, 1884. During our stay in Lestina, we received chilling news from Fringe with the arrival of the evening stagecoach. The lifeless bodies of 6 children were discovered in a barn, completely drained of blood. This grim discovery threw the town into turmoil, with whispers of Nosferatu stirring fear among the populace. After much deliberation, we concluded that the journey back to Fringe, which would take 6 to 8 days, was impractical. Resolved to continue with our initial intentions, we ventured to the secluded area of Clayton's Ravine, notorious for its recent werewolf sightings.
Hello everyone, this is Keith from the Solo Gamers Club and welcome to the channel. Tonight we're going to continue with episode 10 of season 5 of Alone in the Shadows of Brimstone. Posse is going to be undertaking the First Blood mission. They have traveled to the cave entrance where the rumored survivors are supposed to be, and they're going to investigate and see if they can rescue some of the survivors. Now we've got 2 characters for this adventure, so that's going to allow us to have 2 revive tokens. And another portion of this First Blood mission is the Werewolf Adventure is going to be active. Now, in the normal rules, you're allowed to take 3 extra side bag tokens when you're using one of these adventure cards. But in my rules, what I've done is I've awarded the team an extra revive token whenever a werewolf adventure or vampire adventure, or whatever the case is active. So we're going to have a 3rd revive token. And in addition, if absolutely necessary, we do have the valuable information token that we picked up a few days back. And Sky Jones has that right now. That technically can be converted into an additional revive token if necessary. So we'll see what happens. Now, one thing I've done, this adventure has several special rules involved. So what I've done is I've printed out all of the information I'm going to need to run this mission on one sheet, and I've made it real oversized so my old eyes can read it, and this will help me from forgetting some of the special rules that are involved in this mission, and including how to use the enemy theme Werewolf Adventure. And I would recommend that when you're playing something like these adventures that are not the basic missions, that you might want to think about doing that and just printing out a sheet for yourself that gives you like a heads up as to the special rules that might be involved. Now, the special rules in this adventure, in addition to the enemy theme, are fast darkness. Every time the darkness will move up due to a failed hold back the darkness roll, we move it up an additional point. So I put a +1 up there, and that will help me to remember that we're going to advance this 2 spaces if we failed that hold back the darkness roll. Also, there's grisly discoveries. When the heroes will find a clue icon, they've discovered the grisly remains of one of the wagon train settlers, and we're going to draw D3 growing dread cards and add them to the stack. So, in addition, since this is a Werewolf Kin mission, we are going to be adding 2 of the reserved missions for Werewolf Kin into the draw pile for our rumor tokens. We have a full moon and cleansing ritual missions, and those will be put into the draw cup. Now, when we were in Lestina, I had the opportunity to visit the general store, and we could have purchased something there that probably would have helped us quite a bit, knowing that we're going to have werewolves involved. I could have stopped off at the general store and purchased specialty ammo, and they have silver shot for $50. That would give us +1 damage against beast enemies, which the werewolves are obviously beast enemies. So that was a tactical oversight on my part. I should have done that. Another thing that we could do, or could have done, is Sky Jones is the gunslinger. She could have gotten up to 2 silver shots if she had advanced into a certain upgrade slot. If she would have taken the Way of the Gun upgrade, anything in that category, that would have entitled her to have to start out the mission with 2 silver shots. But unfortunately, she's not going to qualify for that. She's still level 1. And that silver shot would have allowed us to discard to ignore the endurance ability of an enemy for one of your ranged hits with a gun. It would also double the damage roll against a beast, or triple the roll if against a werewolf. So those would have been really valuable for us, but unfortunately, she didn't have anything in that Way of the Gun. She hasn't advanced yet. She's still level 1. So we're ready to begin our adventure. First Blood. And our objectives are, once the posse marker reaches space 11 on the depth track, the heroes are getting close. The next clue icon found, including any clue on the current exploration token, if the 11 space has been reached, is the location of the survivor. So we've got to get down to level 11 before we can really get into any chance of solving this. Speed is going to be of the essence. If we want to catch this survivor and they're still alive, we need to get an 8 or less on a d6 roll for darkness. That's d6 roll plus whatever the current darkness level is. So we don't want that darkness to move up too much. We know that we're going to roll at least a 1, and it could be as high as a 6. So anything beyond that, we're going to have to fight werewolves. All right, it is the morning of March 15th, 1884, and the girls have entered the mine complex. Sky has an initiative of 6, and Eve has an initiative of 3. And we are going to roll for holding back the darkness. Okay, here is the roll. We're looking for a 7 or greater. And we've got a 7, so that is good. We've got to keep that darkness as low as possible. So we've got to move through this mine as fast as we can. Incidentally, Eve does have her spirit guide, the wolf, and that's going to allow her to roll 5 extra dice for a scavenge test. We're not going to be doing a lot of scavenging, I don't think, in this adventure because time is of the essence. Not to mention that Sky has some madness conditions. The chills. When scavenging, ignore the first 6 that you roll. And she also has Open to the Void. You no longer get willpower saves to prevent corruption hits. So we'll have to be careful. So we're going to try to move through this as fast as we can. And we'll begin with Sky Jones, and she's going to roll for movement. Sky has 1 grit currently, and Eve has 2. Okay, here is the roll. She rolls a 6. Okay, she's going to move up 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll move her up to the doorway. And I think what we'll have her do is I'm not going to have her look through yet. I'm going to wait to make sure that Eve can approach. So that's going to finish the activations for Sky Jones, and we'll move on now to Eve. We'll have her roll for movement. She rolls a 5. Okay, she'll move up 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and I think that this will be a good opportunity for Eve Thompson to use her spirit guide ability, and that's the wolf. Roll 5 extra dice for a scavenge test. So I'm going to have her do a scavenge test here. She'll be able to roll 8 dice, and that will be the only use of that card. We'll flip that over. But I'm hoping maybe we can find some type of a useful item in the gear deck. If we could get awarded that, that would help us in this mission. All right, so she's going to try a scavenge. She's going to get 8 dice for this scavenge. So we'll roll 8 dice. We're looking for 6s. And she does have 1 6. So we're going to be able to get our scavenge deck out and see what she finds. So we'll shuffle up our scavenge deck and see what she gets. Okay, she finds a small find. You find a small scattering of coins stained with blood. We're going to earn $50 in cash with 10 XP. And in this playthrough, I'm using a community pool of cash and XP, and then we'll divide it equally at the end of the mission. It makes it a lot easier to run the mission, and I think it's a little fairer to spread that XP around, because both characters are really learning from the overall experience. So I think that makes it fair. All right, I've added $50 and $10 XP to their respective trays, and that is going to complete that first round of activation. All right, we'll continue on then with our Hold Back the Darkness roll, and I hope we can pass this. The roll is an 8, so we're good. And we'll continue on now with initiative order, and Sky is going to activate. And she's going to roll for movement, even though she's at the end of that passage, but she might be able to pick up a grid or something. Rolls a 2. Okay, so she's going to hold position, and then she's going to take a look down the passage. We'll draw a map deck card and see what she finds. And she found a corner passage. The passage broke to the north, and there's no exploration token, so we have to move, though, our progress marker down to 15. We got to get to 11, and that's where we can start hoping to find any survivors. So we'll continue on now with Eve, and she will activate for move, and we'll see what she comes up with. Okay, here is the roll. She rolls a 4. Okay, she's got 4 movement points. So we'll move her 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll move her into the next doorway. And, well, I can't really go too slow on this mission, so I think she's just going to look through the passage, and we'll just have to take our lumps as we get it. We do have the revive tokens that are there, so I'm not real concerned with that. So we'll have her draw a map tile, map deck card, and we'll see what she finds. All right, so we have found a Cinder Ritual Room. It comes with an advanced encounter called Fire Spirit. And we're going to place one of our exploration tokens there. And we'll see what happens with this special room, the Cinder Ritual Room. All right, our next step is the exploration phase. So we're going to turn over the exploration token and see what we've got. And it is 2 additional encounters. The room has 2 doors. So let's find out about the doorways. I guess we'll just make a roll. It's got 2 doorways, so each of those will have a doorway. That's fine. So we'll place 2 additional encounters in there, and then we're going to mix those up and resolve those one at a time, randomly. Now this is our second room, so we're down to a depth of 14. We've only got 3 more to get down to level 11. Okay, we're going to randomize these encounter cards, and then we're going to flip them over one at a time and see what happens. Okay, here's the first one. It says standoff. Keywords are encounter, active, stranger, and outlaw. As you enter the room, you come face to face with a grizzled-looking bandito heading the other direction. He stops dead in his tracks, fingers twitching over both loaded holsters. Choose. We can try to reason with him using a cunning test, or try to take him down. And we have to make an initiative 6+, and that would determine roll a number of dice equal to your initiative. This is considered a skill test. If any of them are 6+, you are the fast draw and take him out. Gain 50 XP. If not, take 2d6 wounds ignoring defense. He then opens fire while running past you. Well, we'll have to decide what we want to do. Well, we can choose one hero. Both of those are choose a hero. And we've got Sky Jones. She has an initiative of 6. So that would be a pretty good chance on trying to take him down. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to have Sky Jones use her very fast initiative, and she's going to roll 6 dice, and we're looking for a 6. Now this is a skill test, it says, so it can be re-rolled. Okay, here is the roll. And she got him on the draw, no doubt. 4 6s. Okay, so let's read through that. Roll a number of dice equal to your initiative. For this, considered a skill test. If any of them are 6 plus, you are a faster draw and take him out. Gain 50 XP. So that's what's going to happen. We'll gain 50 XP. That's great. Okay, we'll move on to the next encounter. And this one is Fire Spirit. Encounter active stranger demon. Dancing around the walls and ceiling of the room, a fiery imp sparks and sputters with red flame, only pausing long enough to whip its tail and laugh at you with a mocking tone. If you can catch it, you may discover something useful. All right. So all heroes are going to have to make an agility 6 plus test. And we'll start out with Eve. She has an agility of 2, and that's it. So she'll be rolling 2 dice for the test. All the characters will have to make the roll. Here's the roll. And she's failed. And what does it say if we fail here? If successful, gain 30 XP, and you may look at the top 2 cards of any deck, choosing one to discard and the other to put back on top. For each one roll during the test, you are seared by the Fire Spirit, gaining a burning marker. Well, we didn't roll any of those yet. Okay, next up is Sky. She has an agility of 3, and that's it. So she's got 3 agility. Let's see if she can pass this. She did it. She's got the 6, but she did roll 2 1s as well. So if successful, gain 30 XP, and we can look at the top 2 cards of any deck, choosing one to discard and the other to place back on top. All right. Unfortunately, Sky is going to take 2 burning markers, and we'll have to find out how those operate. All right, here's the card for burning markers. It says when a model has 1 or more burning markers on it, at the start of its activation, remove one of those burning markers and the model takes 2 wounds, ignoring defense. Only 1 burning marker is removed each activation, so a model may continue to burn for several turns. All right, well, we're going to place those then on Sky Jones. And now we're able to look at the top 2 cards of any deck that we want. And I think the most important deck is obviously the map deck. If we can maybe get something a little simpler for us to move through, that would expedite our travels through here. So I'm going to get the top 2 cards of the map deck, and we'll see what those are. And we've got the mining lift and the excavation chamber. Each of those has an advanced encounter, ancient ruins or broken lift. So I'm not sure which one is better. The excavation chamber seems interesting, or the mining lift. Well, I think what we'll do is I'm going to discard the excavation chamber, and we'll put the mining lift on top. We know that that's going to be the next map deck card that we're going to draw, and we'll discard the excavation chamber. All right, we've got 1 encounter left to resolve, and this one is Bandit's Lair, Encounter Environment Outlaw. Crates of stolen goods and a few bedrolls line the walls, while a pile of crumpled wanted posters litter the floor. Each hero may take 1 corruption hit to break open a crate and pilfer the stolen goods. Make a strength 4 plus test. If passed, gain 10 XP, and you may take 1 of the following side bake tokens for free, whiskey or bandages. If the hero rolled at least 1 6 on this test, he may instead choose a dynamite. That's interesting. Well, I think for sure we're going to have Eve Thompson attempt this. She has a strength of 3, and she'll have a good chance on maybe stopping that corruption hit. If Sky Jones tried it, she has that madness called Open to the Void. You no longer get a willpower save to prevent corruption hits, so we don't want her to try this. But we can have Eve try it, and I think we'll do that. She has a strength of 3, so she'll be rolling 3 dice for the test, and we're looking for a 4 or greater, and we can take some side bake tokens. And she did it, and not only did she do it, she's got a 6. And that would entitle her the chance to take a dynamite instead, and that's what she's going to do. So Eve is going to add a dynamite token to her side bag token. She's got a dynamite now, a whiskey bandage, and brimstone ash. Now, part of this was she had to take a corruption hit. So she's able to save against that. She currently has a willpower of 4+. So we'll see if she can stop the corruption point from impacting her. She rolls a 5, so that's great. We've got the dynamite and we got 10 XP as well. All right, so we have gone through all of those encounter cards. The token can be removed. And we'll add a dynamite to Eve's side bag. That is great. Okay, that's going to complete the round, and we can get started with another Hold Back the Darkness roll. So far we've been all right with those. We're right now at a depth of 14. We need to get down to 11. Okay, here is the Hold Back the Darkness roll. We rolled an 11, so we are in good shape. That is amazing. Now we're going to activate in initiative order. Now, Sky has 2 burning markers on her. So what we do is we are going to discard one of the burning markers, and she is going to take 2 wounds, ignoring defense. So we're going to have to give Sky Jones 2 wounds. And we'll mark her on her sheet. She's now 2 of 10 in the wound department. And now she's going to roll for movement. She rolls a 3, so we'll have her move up 3. 1, 2, and 3. All right, I'm not going to be doing too much scavenging. I don't want to add to our delays on this mission. Speed is of the essence, so she's just going to make her move, and that's it. We'll move on now to Eve, and we'll have her roll for movement. She rolls a 5. All right. And she's going to move ahead. She'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And she's going to move into the passageway heading back to the west. All right. And I guess we know what that next map card is going to be. So I guess I'm just going to reveal that right now. We'll have her look down the passage. All right, so we have the broken lift. Advanced encounter. We'll be placing an exploration token there. And that's it for the activation for Eve. So we would go on then to the exploration phase. And we'll see what the token says. And we have 1 door and 1 extra encounter card. So we'll place our extra encounter there. The doorway goes to the north, the other one is blocked off. And we'll resolve our encounters now. So we'll shuffle those 2 up and see what comes out. Okay, here's the first encounter. And that is the broken lift. It says encounter environment repair. An old mining lift lies at the far end of the room. You might be able to get it working. Choose. Try to repair the mining lift using a cunning 6+ test, or ignore the lift and do a luck 5+. If failed, a mass of tentacles bursts out of the lift shaft and will be attacked by a peril die of tentacles. And the other one is the cunning test. All the heroes will make a cunning 6+ test. If we're successful, we'll be able to draw a loot card. However, if no heroes pass the test, all the noise has attracted unwanted attention and we're going to be attacked and we would have to draw a threat card. All right. Well, our combined cunning is 3 for Sky and 2 for Eve. So it'd be a total of 5 dice and we would need to get a 6+. So we'd need a little luck with that. We do have grit tokens we can use though. The other one is a luck test, and that's going to be by a random hero. One of our heroes, Sky Jones, has a luck of 5, but the other one, Eve, has only a luck of 1, so that's a 50-50 chance on that one. I think we're going to try the cunning test, and we'll begin with Sky Jones. She has a cunning value of 3, and she has 2 grit, so if we have to, we could try to re-roll those. So we're going to make a cunning 6+ test. Okay, she's going to roll 3 dice, and we need a 6. She's done it. She's got a 6, and that says heroes gain 25 XP for each 6 they roll. If at least one hero passes the test, you get the lift working and bring it up. Finding valuable goods inside. Each hero may draw a loot. Well, we might as well make the test then for Eve as well. She might be able to earn 25 XP. Okay, here's her roll. This is a 2d6. And she's got a success as well. So we're going to earn a total combined 50 XP, and then each one can draw a loot card. That is outstanding. And incidentally, our progress marker has to be moved down an additional 1, down to 13. Whoops. Whoa. So we're down to 13. 2 more and we'd be at our magic 11 number. So, all right, we're going to mix up our loot deck, and each character can draw a loot card. That's great. All right, we'll shuffle up our loot deck, and the first one's going to go to Sky Jones. And she finds this should come in handy. Draw a gear card or an artifact card if in another world, and it's worth 20 XP. All right, so we're going to get a gear card. Let's see what that is. She gets the gear card, Journal Pages. Discard to recover 1 grit and gain 25 XP for each journal pages your hero has ever discarded in this way, including this card. All right, we'll add that to her tableau. All right, the next loot card is going to go to Eve Thompson, and she gets Blood Money, 20 XP and D6 times $25. That is great. Okay, we'll roll a D6 and see what she gets. She rolls a 6. Outstanding. That'll be $150. All right, that's going to complete the broken lift encounter, and we got 1 encounter left. Let's see what that one is. This one is Voice of Corruption. Encounter active darkness. As you enter the room, the lights seem to dim and flicker. In your head, you hear a raspy voice, more ancient than time itself. Come closer. Release me. I will give you power beyond your wildest dreams. All right. And we've got a Spirit 5+ test. All heroes will have to make this. If passed, heal D6 sanity damage and gain 10 XP as you resist the power of the darkness. If failed, you must immediately take D6 corruption hits or do D6 wounds, ignoring defense, to any adjacent hero you choose. All right, well, we're going to have to do the Spirit test. We'll begin with Eve Thompson. She has a Spirit value of 3, so she'll be rolling 3 dice for the test. All right, we need a 5 or greater. And she did it. She's got the 5. And that's going to heal, it would heal D6 sanity damage and gain 10 XP. So we'll gain the 10 XP out of that. I'll add that to her total. And now Sky Jones will have to do it. She has only a Spirit of 2. She gains 1 for her locket, so she's at 3 as well. And we'll have her make the roll. And she's passed it. She's got a 6. So once again, we're going to earn 10 XP, and that's going to complete that encounter. That's great. All right, so that is going to complete that round, and we'll move on now to another Hold Back the Darkness roll. And here's the roll. We rolled a 6, so we failed. And that's going to move the track up 2 points now, 1 for the normal and 1 for that fast darkness. So we're moved up to 2 now. It's not good, and we're going to have to draw a darkness card. And the darkness card is revealed to be Occult Offering, Darkness Ritual Dread. Discard all other darkness cards currently in play. For each card discarded, draw a Growing Dread card and add it to the stack. Well, we're in pretty good shape because we don't have any darkness cards in play, so that was a good draw for us. All right, now we're going to activate in order. We'll begin with the activation of Sky, and she has that last burning marker on her. So Sky is going to have to take 2 more wounds, and that will discard the last of those burning markers. She's at a total of 4 now out of 10. So we'll get rid of that burning marker, and she's going to roll for move. She rolls a 3. Okay. So Sky's going to move forward 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. And that's going to end her turn. I'm not doing any scavenging. We'll move on now to Eve. And I think Eve is going to try her home remedies. Use a grit to heal D6 wounds from yourself or another hero on your map tile. She's considered to be on both, and she's on that map tile, so we're going to do that. We'll have her spend a grit, and then we're going to roll a D6 and heal that much wound damage from Sky. We rolled a 2, so she's going to heal 2 then at least. So we'll remove 2 of those wounds. Brings her down to a total of 2 wounds out of 10. All right, so the home remedies was used, and we're going to roll for move now. Rolls a 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I don't know if I should. There's quite a bit of distance between us. Not sure if I should look through there or not. We could just have her do a scavenge roll too. Maybe we'll do that, and we'll give Sky a chance to catch up. So we'll make a scavenge roll. We'll roll 3 dice, and we're looking for a 6. And she's got it. She has a 6, so we'll be drawing a scavenge card. Okay, we'll shuffle up our scavenge deck and see what we get. Okay, she finds nothing here. 10 XP. Okay, well, she gains 10 XP. We'll add that to our collection of XP. And that is going to bring the round to a close. And we'll begin the round with another Hold Back the Darkness. Here we go. We rolled a 9, so we're safe. That is great. Now we're going to activate in order. We'll begin with Sky Jones. She'll roll for move. She rolls a 4. Okay, we'll have her move 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, that's her move. And then we're going to continue on then with activating Eve, and she'll roll for movement. She rolls a 4, and we'll have her take a look down the passage. All right, and she has found a reinforced room. There's no advanced encounter, so we're going to place an exploration token in there. And I've already made an error, and that is the enemy theme. Whenever we draw any encounter cards, we're supposed to make a die roll. And on a 1, 2, or 3, we're supposed to also add in a werewolf encounter. So I think what we'll do is we had to make 2 we had two separate sets of encounters. So we'd have to roll the dice twice and see if we would have encountered any werewolf encounters. So we'll make two rolls, and I think I'll just add the werewolf encounters to this mission if we get any. All right, here is the first roll. On a 1, 2, or 3, we would add a werewolf encounter. Roll is a 4, so we're okay with that one. That's great. We'll make another roll. We've got a 2, so there will be a werewolf encounter. I think I'll just add it to this encounter that we've got here. So we'll take the top card from the Werewolf Encounters deck and add that to what we've got there. That seems to be like it'll be fair that way. And incidentally, at the beginning of the mission, if we look at this Werewolf Adventure card, we're supposed to, at the start of the adventure, draw a Werewolf Tribal Pack card to apply to all werewolves. So we're going to draw a Tribal Pack card and see what that is. We should have done that at the beginning, but it didn't affect anything at least. So here is our Tribal Pack card. That's the Moonrunners. Let's take a closer look at that. And that says, as a part of the training and initiation into their shaman priesthood, the Moonrunners must go on a journey of transformation and madness. Only by experiencing the bloodiest form of beastly cravings, they believe, can one truly understand the nature of darkness. Covering themselves in runic tattoos and spirit charms, they set out for the hunt. Okay, Indian shaman initiates. Moonrunners have keywords tribal and magic and runic magic. All Moonrunners have endurance 4. May not take more than 4 wounds per hit. Extra damage is wasted. And it has a value of +5 XP. All right, so that will apply to all werewolves that we've got in this adventure. All right, and now we'll go to the exploration phase, and we'll turn over our exploration card. We've got a clue token, and it's 2 extra encounters. There is 1 doorway leading out of this passage. All right, so we're going to add 2 additional encounters to this. And then we have to, technically we'd have to make a roll to see if it'll be a werewolf adventure. Now we've already added one of those already. So I guess we'll make the roll and see if there would be another one in here. We'll do that. A 1, 2, or 3, and that would be the case. Rolls of 5, so no further werewolf encounters, but we are going to have 1 werewolf encounter with 2 additional standard encounters. Now that's a clue token, and that says Grisly Discoveries. Whenever the hero finds a clue icon, they have discovered the grisly remains of one of the wagon train settlers. Draw D3 Growing Dread cards. So we'll have to roll a D3 and see what happens. Here's the roll. We rolled a 2, so we're going to have to draw 2 Growing Dread cards and add them to the stack. All right, we've got 2 Growing Dread cards. We can mitigate that by each character spending a grit. We can get rid of a Growing Dread card, so that at least is something. Now we have to determine where the door is going to be. Okay, we've got a block passage to the north and a doorway to the east. Now we're going to start by shuffling up these encounter cards and resolving them one at a time. Let's see what we come up with. I'm glad I didn't screw that up too much. I did forget about that werewolf adventure. I got it written on my chart too. Okay, here is our shuffled set of encounters, and we'll resolve those one at a time. And here's the first encounter. And we've got Tattered Rags. Encounter active swarm. Tattered and bloody rags litter the floor here. The remnants of clothes. Were these torn from the unfortunate victim of a beast, or cast off during transformation of a beast itself? Okay, all heroes are going to have to make a lower 5+ test. If successful, gain 10 XP as you search for clues amongst the ragged refuse. If failed, take 3 horror hits as you shudder to think of the power of these creatures you hunt. All right. I guess we'll begin with Sky Jones. She has a lore value of 3. So we'll have her roll 3 dice. Okay, and we'll need 5 or greater. Okay, here's the roll. And she has failed. Well, she would take 3 horror hits in the process. So I guess we will see if she can stop those with a willpower roll. Sky has a willpower of 4, so we'll roll 3 dice, and for each 4 plus, she'll be able to stop one of those. Now, she also has that Aura of Protection, which has Spirit Armor 6 plus, so that would give us another chance at this too. But for right now, she has a willpower of 4 plus, so we'll be able to stop each of those with a 4 or greater. And she has managed to stop 2 of them, so only 1 remains. We'll try her Spirit Armor and see if she can stop that. It rolls a 5, so we're going to take 1 sanity damage for Sky. We'll mark her down. And now we're going to make the lore test for Eve Thompson. She has a lore value of 5, so she'll be rolling 5 dice for this test. She's looking for 5 or greater. And she's got it barely, but she's got a 5 there. So that's going to earn her 10 XP. And that's all she gets, 10 XP. Okay, that's going to complete the Tattered Rags encounter. We'll go on to the next one, and that is Flickering Lantern. Encounter Insanity. As the lantern flickers and threatens to go out, the hero's fears are made manifest by shadows. All heroes are subject to voices in the dark during the next turn. All right, voices in the dark. It says any hero starting their activation on a map tile that is not within the old lantern's light on the same or adjacent map tile as the lantern begins hearing voices in the dark, slowly driving them mad. The hero immediately takes D6 horror hits. All right. Well, that would be active during the next turn, so we'll have to keep that card out. I'll place that on our initiative track so I don't forget about that. And finally, we have 1 encounter remaining. And that is the Curse of Coronado. Encounter active curse lost. An echo of dark laughter rings in your minds. This chamber, that passage, it all looks familiar. Is it possible that some unforeseen force has been leading you in the wrong direction? Move the hero posse marker D6 spaces backward on the depth track. For the rest of the adventure, the heroes need to roll 1 higher than normal to hold back the darkness. Oh no. This card may be canceled as though it were a darkness card, remains in play. Oh my goodness. That's really going to put a damper on us. Well, there's nothing we can do at this point to cancel that. So we have to start out by moving the posse marker back 6, D6, and that's going to prevent us from being able to get to our 11 that we need. This is really bad. So one of the worst cards we could have gotten. Okay, we'll move the darkness, I guess, or I should say our posse marker back D6. 5, that's going to put us all the way back to the beginning. So we'd have to, oh boy, that's terrible. Not to mention now we're going to have to be rolling a 7, an 8 or greater in that first section. So we add 1 to the 1 higher than normal for our hold back the darkness rolls. Oh boy. Unless we can find a way to cancel this thing, that's really going to be tough. I'll put that on the initiative board so I remember it. And we've got our first clue marker. Okay. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, that is going to be the end of the round. And we're going to start up a new round holding back the darkness. But now with that card, Curse of Coronado, we need an 8 or greater in this first section. Not to mention we've been moved back to the pretty much the start space on the posse track, so not good. Okay, here's the roll. We need 8 or better. Got a 6, so that's going to move the darkness up 2 slots, moving it up to 4, and we got another blood splatter, and we'll have to draw a darkness card. And the darkness card is the Edge of Forever, Darkness. The portals seem to lead to 1,000 different worlds across the vastness of time and space. All unexplored doorways immediately become gates. Oh boy. So that means that this doorway here is going to become a gate, and we'll also be replacing another doorway in that cinder ritual room. So both of those now are actually gates. Okay, we've made the changeover, and now we can activate in order. So we'll get rid of this Edge of Forever card that's been used, and this really puts a damper on things. The chances of us being able to find a living survivor now with that depth track at 4, very slim. All right, well, I guess Sky is going to roll for movement. Now we're under this flickering lantern. All heroes are subject to voices in the dark during the next turn. So she's going to begin the turn with D6 horror hits. So we'll start out by doing that first. She has a total of 5, so she'll be able to roll 5 dice and try to mitigate those. Her willpower is a 4+. Well, she stopped 2 of them, so 3 are going to get through. She would take 3 horror damage at this point. I guess we'll use her spirit armor and see if she can use that. Any 6s would stop an additional sanity damage. She stopped 2 of them, so she's only going to take 1 sanity damage. That'll move Sky up to 2 of 11. And now she can activate for movement, and we'll have her roll a die. She rolls a 5. Okay, so we'll have her move 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, that is going to end Sky's turn, and we'll move on now to Eve. Eve is also subject to that flickering lantern, so she's going to take D6 horror hits to start her turn. She rolls a 5, so she's got 5 sanity damage as it stands. We'll see if her willpower can stop it. And she has a willpower of 4+, so she stopped 3 of them. 2 of them got through. And we'll try her spirit armor and see if we could stop any of that. She stopped 1, so she only takes 1 sanity damage out of all that. And we can finally get rid of that flickering lanterns card, that encounter card. And now she's going to roll for move. She rolls a 1. Okay, that's going to allow her to get a grit token back, so that's good. That's her second grit, and she'll move 1 space. And that is going to bring the round to a close. And we'll begin a new round with Hold Back the Darkness. Now we need an 8 or greater. We rolled a 4. It's going to move that up 2 more, up to 6. And that's going to add a Growing Dread card to the stack. That'll be Growing Dread number 3. And that's really going to put a damper down on the ability to find any survivors. We've wasted way too much time. Okay, and Sky is going to roll for move. She rolls a 1. Okay, that's going to get her grit token, which is always a good thing. We'll add a grit to Sky, that's her second. And she's going to move 1 space into that doorway, and she's going to look through, and that is another world. Okay, so we've got our world cards, and we'll draw the card and see what that is. She's looking through into the blasted wastes. Oh no, that's a tough area. Wasteland. Whenever a natural 7 is rolled for the Hold Back the Darkness roll, all heroes in the blasted wastes also take a corruption hit. That is not going to work well. Sky Jones has that crazy open to the void madness, and she cannot use willpower to save against corruption hits, so that is not going to work well for us. All right, well, we'll draw a card then from the Blasted Wastes map deck and see what at least it is. Well, that turns out to be a Blasted Wastes mid-passage. There's no exploration token in there, and that's what we see in the distance. So I don't think we're going to go that way. We're going to go back around the other way, I think through the caverns area. So Eve is up next, and we'll have her roll for move. She rolls a 5, and I'm going to have her head back the other way towards that cinder ritual room. She'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I think we'll end that activation there. That Curse of Coronado was really a nasty thing for us to have happen to us. And I think I'm going to end the video here, and we'll pick back up with our next activation, our next Hold Back the Darkness. And we'll just plot along with this, I think, until it gets to be, you know, beyond the hope of getting one of those survivors. As it stands now, we'd be adding 6 to a d6, and any result over an 8, so we'd have to roll a 1 or 2 on the dice, even if we had it right at this point. And that would allow us to find a survivor. Other than that, they're going to either be transformed or partially eaten. So thanks for tuning in to the Solo Gamers Club. I appreciate you tuning in, and hope to see you again next time for another episode of Alone in the Shadows of Brimstone. In the meantime, this is Keith signing off, wishing everyone a pleasant evening. Good night.